You're listening to Gorehound's Storytellers Hour. My name's Dustin. I'm here with Jason, and we have special guests from Midnightwest Productions, Josh and Jerry.
It's Joe. Actually.
Oh, sorry. I'm screwing up people's names.
You're good. Too many J names.
Yeah, Jason, Joe, and Jerry.
Yeah.
We're missing John and Jeffrey.
They're going to tell us a scary story.
Okay, I'm Jerry Steinauer.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was good timing for us to be here.
It was a spontaneous event today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very spontaneous.
And I guess you can introduce yourself real quick, too.
Definitely. I'm Joe Darling. I do a lot of film work with Jerry Steinauer and Midnightwest Productions.
I'm an independent filmmaker. Have been making short films, a couple full-length films for about 20 years now. Definitely in horror grindhouse genre categories for sure.
My favorite ones.
Mine as
Absolutely.
well. Like, most inspiring to me for sure.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell. So we, I guess you're going to tell, or I'm going to tell.
Yeah, you guys got to tell a story. It could be paranormal. It could be a drug story. It could be
a life-changing
event.
Near-death experience.
I could definitely tell an Atlas Theater story for sure.
What's Atlas Theater?
In Cheyenne, Wyoming, where we live, just a little bit north of the border of where we're at now.
45 minutes.
Yep, not too far.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, yeehaw, for sure.
It's a culture difference up there.
It's quite a culture difference, for sure. So I'm glad we're this close to Colorado. But there's an old historic theater downtown on 16th Street. It's called the Historic Atlas Theater. And this place was built, I think, in like 1888, I believe is what the plaque says on the wall. But it used to, it's been, before it was a theater, it's been many other incarnations. Like, it was a hotel at one time.
Oh, boy.
And so there's a second and third floor of that place that are
haunted?
Pretty much haunted, for sure. Haunted as shit. But
Yay.
They've been condemned for a while just because it hasn't been a lot of upkeep. The weather's been messing it up and everything, but it's definitely creepy as shit looking up there, and you could definitely feel it. There's definitely a few ghosts up there, and I used to do a haunted house back there for about 7 years. We used to call it the Haunted Atlas.
Is that close to the Plains Hotel?
Yeah, it's actually kind of catty corner, like a block catty corner west of the Plains Hotel.
Cool.
Another supposedly haunted place,
I got a story about that hotel.
Okay,
I'll let you finish.
All right, awesome. Well, we used to do the Haunted Atlas for about 7 years there. I was the director of that, and Joe here was actually involved with that a couple of years when he was like 11 or 12, actually, way back when. And several of us working on the Haunted Atlas had a few different unexplainable events happen to them. Worst I'd ever experienced, other than hearing noises, was seeing some flashes of light. But that's nothing, because when we started filming a Wicked season, because cut to 10 years later after the Haunted Atlas ended its run, I had taken my experiences and other people's experiences and had been taking notes, and me and my filmmaking partner, Sean Crochet, who was also one of the co-founders of Midnightwest Productions, we started contemplating this full-length horror film about the Haunted Atlas and the ghosts involved, and everybody's experience is in there some way, so it's based on like real experiences. But fictioned up a little bit to give it a little more scary drama. But while we were in production of that film, because Sean and I had the script mostly written, but we didn't have any of the flashback stuff written for the backstory of these ghosts. So we started every weekend after we were shooting, we would stay after hours till like 3 or 4 in the morning and go up on the second and third floors and pretty much play the Ouija board and all kinds of other stuff like that in all the rooms. But we found out that the most active room was on the 3rd floor, and a really creepy room because there's like this open courtyard that looks down onto the 2nd floor. I don't know if it used to be open to the weather back in the day or whatever, but there's a big skylight above. Really cool and creepy, but also not very safe. And so we started, when we found out that that room seemed to be the room where we needed to be doing this stuff, we used the Ouija board and we started contacting certain spirits there. And then one of our group members...
Was there any drugs and alcohol involved in this?
Not that time. Not at that time. If it was now, it'd be a whole different story. But one of the members of our group, a friend of mine named Jason, who I trust very much, and I know he wasn't fucking with us. Sorry, I hope I can cuss on here.
Oh, yeah.
It is not FCC regulated.
All right. So yeah, I knew he wasn't gonna fuck with us, and he though, once we started doing the seance and the table tipping stuff, he started getting really choked up and he couldn't breathe, like scary to like where we'd have to stop it, and his wife would have to like literally get him to come to. But he wanted to keep pushing it, and it was, for what we found out, the one badass spirit that used to, I don't know if he still resides there. I haven't felt anything super creepy ass there from that guy in a while. But apparently Jason was very susceptible to channeling spirits, and especially this Abraham guy. And he would literally transform in front of us, and his voice would change, and it was fucking horrifying.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
And
dude, you make films and you didn't capture this on film?
Oh, we did.
You did?
We did.
Dun dun dun.
Fantastic.
And I actually just showed it to this guy over here for the first time.
It scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, because it's
fucking terrifying.
It's actually an Easter egg. Sean put it as an Easter egg on the Wicked Season DVD. So if you got that, it's still down here.
Wicked Season?
Yeah. I'll tell you how to get to that.
Why don't you guys do some kind of film, like kind of Blair Witch type style, like shaky camera, and have that be like the backstory?
Yeah,
No
that,
shaky
that,
camera.
yeah, that could be. Yeah, that could very easily
Tastefully done.
shaky camera. Be so. Yeah, that could be the sequel, the unofficial sequel to Wicked Season.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
But
See, we just came up with $1 million idea.
heck yeah. And
If you use it out there, we'll sue you.
we'll give credit where credit's due. But
awesome.
it was terrifying. We'd done this for a long time, and throughout the whole shoot of that movie, and everything that we found out through those adventures and through Jason basically wrote all of the flashbacks and backstory of that movie. Cool. And those flashbacks in the movie I thought turned out really, really well. The sound was not our cup of tea at that time, 20 years ago, so the sound's a little blown out in spots, but the movie's still a solid movie, I think. But we stopped doing that stuff because weird things started happening to all of us.
Now, was that your first film?
Yeah, well, our first official full-length film, too. I had made a short film probably about 2 years before that called Abduction, which is pretty hardcore. Last House on the Left-ish. That's what inspired me to write that, actually, is Last House on the Left. But
You're twisted.
Yeah, I'll have to show you guys that movie sometime.
I'd love to see it.
We stopped doing it because weird shit started happening to everybody. And
What do you mean weird shit?
well, for me particularly, I started having, I mean, if you wanted to like rule out supernatural, night terrors,
Yeah.
or sleep paralysis.
I've
But
had
I've
those.
never fucking had that before, and I've never had that since.
Yeah.
It was all when that shit was happening. And
Sleep paralysis is really scary.
yeah, seriously. Like, I can, watching that movie, The Nightmare or whatever it is, I'm like totally relating to that shit. And I'm like, but I really do think that whatever is in the Atlas or was in the Atlas, that we were like poking buttons, poking the devil with a stick.
Yeah.
I don't know if they that shit follow me home, or if they. I feel like he put something in my brain to make me have this shit, maybe. But I don't know. It's seriously what would happen. Several nights, I would be laying there asleep and live by myself, and so I know there's nobody else there, and I would be almost asleep, and I would feel the edge of my bed right next to me sit down, like someone was sitting next to me.
Wow.
And like, it was crazy.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And
That would mess with my head.
that all led up to after one night of me really, during one of the seance sessions, really poking for answers and pushing for answers and being a little bit of a dick about it. That night, after I went home and was just about asleep, I swear it felt to me that the room was dark, of course. It felt to me like something jumped on top of my chest
Oh my God.
and was holding me down so I couldn't breathe and scream. I was trying to fucking scream so loud. And
Nothing came
yeah,
out,
I
did
couldn't
it?
move,
Yeah.
I couldn't scream. And then finally, once I got the scream out, whatever it was gone. And I jumped up and turned on lights, and I'm checking the house, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? So we decided not too long after that, we got the info we needed. We need to maybe
Change.
quit poking around, and
Yeah.
I really haven't played with my Ouija board since. I'm kind of a pussy about that now.
I've been a pussy about Ouija boards since I was probably 15. Yeah.
Well,
I won't
yeah,
mess with
they're,
them anymore.
in my opinion and experience, real.
Yep.
So I have like a really quick story about the Plains Hotel right
Okay.
next to the Atlas. So I go up there once in a while just to stay. I like that place. And I was walking around the corner. This is when I was still drinking, to the liquor store. I don't remember the name of the liquor store right there. It's across the street next to the train station.
Oh, the Albany, probably.
Yeah.
Package liquor, yeah.
So I'm walking past that corner in front of, it would be the south, like the southwest, no, east corner of the building.
Uh-huh.
And literally an apple core comes down, hits me in the head. Straight up. Comes down, hits me in the head, like lands right next to me. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I looked, and the window was completely closed.
Yeah.
I didn't see any open windows. It was winter time. And in that hotel, all of them are nailed shut because they have AC.
Oh, right. Yeah, and for safety purposes too, I'm sure.
So I went to the liquor store, got some beer, walked back into the hotel, walked to the front desk, and I was like, the weirdest thing happened to me. Apple core hit me in the head. Do you think somebody threw it out the window? And she said the same thing. I don't think so. They're all nailed and painted shut. That's really strange.
Yeah, weird.
That's
Fucking
creepy.
weird.
Yeah.
man.
That's weird.
It's really
That's creepy.
weird.
Yeah, that's totally creepy.
Was it a fresh apple core? Was it dried up?
It was just like somebody ate an apple and chucked it. Unless somebody was on their roof smoking
Ooh, which would
and
be
then
unlikely.
eating an apple, and I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, if
I mean, hey.
that were the case, that person was a dick.
You guys have any other stories?
You got any stories, Joe?
I bet you were a creepy kid.
A little bit. I've been told that a time or two. No, actually, going back to the Atlas, a few years ago, I think it was 2015, we were doing our zombie panic room. And
Cool.
these guys sent me up there like to grab something. We were like setting up our rooms or whatever. And I'm up there by myself.
What exactly is a zombie panic room?
So think like almost like Saw, you know, like but meets like
Yeah, you're stuck in a room with a bunch of
you got a couple zombies
that
like,
haven't been reanimated yet, but you have a certain amount of time to find the
like,
clues.
you
got
gotta
to
find clues
before
to get
each-
out.
Slowly, each of
Okay.
the
So,
zombies
like-
starts coming to life.
The whole like panic room thing is kind of trendy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. So,
yeah,
I get that part.
definitely.
Okay.
You have to find the key and everything. But anyways, I was up there and I see this little girl, like, you know, like 7 or 8, like just run by me. And I was the only one up there, you know, like I turn around quick and she's gone, like nothing. Like I never really felt threatened or anything. Now, this other time, on the other hand, I did feel a little bit threatened. So I bartend and I help out there, you know, like every once in a while when they have a show. And one night I was putting wine away down in the basement, and the door is like a push door, you know, like you have to push it shut. And you know, I got done putting away everything, and I went to push the door shut, and I felt something in the basement like opening up against me, you know, like I could feel it physically opening it, like trying to push me back.
Wow.
And like I've never been that freaked out, you know, like
That's a scary one.
I remember like just like slamming my shoulder into the door and locking it and like just booking ass up the stairs, you know. And actually, a couple weeks ago we were doing our walk-in over at the Atlas, and Jerry and our buddy Josh Saxon, who works in Midnightwest with us, but they were up here, they're in the tech booth trying to get like the sound and like, you know, everything ready for our films. And Josh was wearing a hoodie, and he said that he felt like the temperature dropped like 30 degrees like all around him, like all at once, like in a matter of seconds. And that he felt something breathe, you know, like on his neck. So, yeah, my ghost stories definitely go back to the Alice. You know, like bottom line, that place is creepy as fuck.
wow.
Definitely creepy, the whole place, but the basement is really creepy too, because under Cheyenne, there's these, supposedly there used to be, I don't know if they still exist, but legendary tunnels that go from all over the different
Supposed to go all over
buildings
the
and
country,
stuff.
aren't they?
So those tunnels. So I'm from a railroad town too, and they were building this parking garage, and they found all these tunnels, and there was all these like Chinese artifacts. And so the history is, after the railroad was built, most of the workers were Chinese, because of all the prejudice and racism. All the white workers, all the white European workers drove the Chinese out of town.
Oh, yeah.
Or they drove them literally into the ground. They
Okay,
went into hiding in tunnels around the city. So that could be the case with those tunnels.
Yeah, that could very well be. I don't know how many of those actually still exist downtown, but I do know that in the basement of the Atlas, you can see where the entrances to those tunnels were, but they're totally bricked up with newer brick. But the foundation of that building is down there with a bunch of old rock and brick, so it's really creepy down there. Old wooden rafters holding, supports and stuff. An old creepy wine cellar down there. But we're actually filming the finale of STDEMON 2 down there, which is going to be awesome. It's like, that's the only place I could imagine it where a coven of succubi would have their lair, and where they're sucking a necromancer dry of his sperm. So, yeah, just a little sampling of what to expect in STDEMON 2.
Wow. I can't even imagine what that would look like.
Yeah, there's going to be some pretty good gross out scenes in this movie, too.
Totally excited for that.
Yeah, STDEMON 2 is in production right now, by the way. We just started filming that this past weekend, so we're excited. Got some really good shots. Watch the dailies.
I want to know who inspired, like how you got inspired to write a script like this?
Actually, I got inspired for the first film. The whole idea of it. You guys are familiar with that film, the Kentucky Fried Movie? Like,
I have not seen it.
Well, I really love that movie. It's like fake trailers, fake commercials. You know, it's like the R-rated version of if Saturday Night Live were a movie, basically.
National Lampoons.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great film, and I always have been inspired. I want to do a movie like that someday, and like there's also the Groove Tube that was before that as well. But and I had wanted to. I had having all these ideas for fake commercials and stuff like that, but in Kentucky Fried Movie, they had like a film in the middle, like a 30-minute film that was like the feature attraction, and everything else around it was fucked up fun fluff. And so that's what I wanted to do but I needed the middle story, and I thought of STDEMON. But so that STDEMON just became its own thing, and now it is becoming its own universe, and I love this universe.
It's a franchise.
Are you guys gonna make toys? How about like STD Demon dildos?
Yeah, well, I think there's a market for that. Totally. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that the rest of our group will be all on board for that. Yeah.
So, kind of funny story about that. When we were doing our Cheyenne Comic Con a couple years ago, I think 2017, we had our own Midnightwest booth, and we had our own little like Pizizu dick demon motherfucker like just sitting on the table, and there's like fucking 10-year-olds like walking by. I turned around and Sherry, I'm like, we got a fucking dick sitting on our table. Like, I'm surprised that
anything.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten to talk to me yet.
That was the actual prop from the first film too that was sitting there, just promoting our movie, so no one said anything.
So there's a really cheap Chinese website you can get, Chinese made stuff, everything, DHgate.
Yeah.
Go on there, get like some really cheap fucking dildos, and then send to like Vistaprint. Send the dildos to Vistaprint. They'll put your STDEMON logo on it, and then we'll just sell them here.
Heck yeah.
We'll hang them from the ceiling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll mention that. I should mention that to the rest of the group. I'm sure they would
put it on a zip line and just shooting through the store.
Adult action figures.
100 dildos for like,
Man.
$850.
Dishwasher safe and totally insertable.
Every movie needs some toys. Come on.
Heck yeah.
Kids, get your parents' permission.
Yeah. Definitely do that.
We got about 21 minutes left.
Anybody
else have a story?
Life-changing event? Near-death experience?
I mean, going back to the whole thing, of like sleep paralysis. I remember, I don't know, about 6 months ago, I had this recurring, thing where I would be laying in bed and I would see, and they appeared almost like black light fingerprints, just running down my walls, and it was so fucking terrifying,
that is creepy.
And all I could do is just see myself just laying in bed, watching this fucking happen, you don't think how hard it is to snap out of that, and I don't know.
It's extremely hard.
We'll put that in the movie too.
Paralysis is a thing that is very shocking.
Yeah, you got somebody. Yeah. Somebody in the store.
Yay!
I have an experience with sleep paralysis, and it was actually at the Lincoln Center here, because I used to be one of the lead sound guys there. Uh-huh. And there was a winter storm, and we were setting for a show, and I had to come back the next morning, so I was like, screw it. I'm just going to stay the night and sleep in the dressing room. And it was kind of a time in my life, there's lots of stress. So I'm sleeping on this couch, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit. So I didn't know what sleep paralysis was,
Uh-huh.
and then I heard all the like ghost stories associated with Lincoln Center because it was like the first elementary school, I think, in Fort
okay.
Collins.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I had this experience. I'm laying on the couch in the dressing room trying to fall asleep, and I keep hearing like the AC pop on, and it sounded like something was walking down the hallway. And I finally went to sleep, and I think I woke up in the middle of the night, but it was like sleep paralysis. There was this black figure standing over me, and I couldn't move. I was just like laying there, like felt paralyzed, and I couldn't even scream. It was like something was like holding my chest down, and all I did was get out like a groan, like,
Yeah.
and that's all I could get out. It freaked the shit out of me.
Yeah, it is
crazy.
terrifying. I mean, if it is just a mental thing, it's terrifying. If it's a supernatural thing, it's even more terrifying.
I guess
It's terrifying altogether.
the two most common things people see during sleep paralysis is like an old lady sitting on your chest or a black figure. Those are like the two common ones that are associated with sleep paralysis.
I never saw anything like that. Mine was like some kind of weird tentacle creature that had a hold of my arm.
Yeah.
And another tentacle down my throat. It wasn't cute. Yeah.
Like a chest buster or a face hugger.
Kind of.
Wow. That's crazy.
It had more form than a face hugger, though. It was almost Muppet-like.
You had a Muppet on your face.
Oh, God, dude. Slimy, gremlin-y Muppet.
So, not the friendly Elmo type, just so we're clarifying.
Yeah.
You guys had any night terrors? Like night terror sleepwalking episodes or anything like that?
My only experience with sleepwalking is sometimes, not in a while again, but sometimes I would find myself waking up trying to like get out of my room, my bedroom or whatever, but trying a different door then it's totally not even like something that's not even a door or whatever. Like I'm at a closet or something trying to. I mean, but I don't know. That's probably just sleepwalking. But that's my only experience with that. It was still weird.
I've fallen asleep with my eyes open before when I was younger.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I used to have this reoccurring nightmare of a little baby mummy, and it was on display like the Ramses,
Yeah.
at the museum. I'd look in the glass case, and the damn baby mummy eye would open, pink, and look at me. And then we'd switch. It would be like cutting to a movie scene. We'd switch, and I'd be like in the jungle running my ass off. And this little baby mummy swinging them, fucking this one little eye open, glaring at me. Oh, it was horrible. So I'd fallen asleep with my eyes open, and I had a nightlight. I was probably 10, and all of a sudden I keep seeing the baby mummy go by the fucking nightlight, right?
Oh man.
And I couldn't move, man. I was doing everything I could to like try and scream myself awake because you kind of know you're asleep,
Yeah.
And it was brutal. It was a brutal fucking 5 or 10 minutes maybe. Yeah. But finally I screamed myself awake. Everybody comes running, What's the matter? I fell asleep with my eyes open. That's it. I didn't know how to explain,
I sleep with my left eye open normally because I just have a lazy eye, and it's like overcorrected. And a lot of people who don't know me very well, if they're hanging out with me and we're hanging out overnight, and I fall asleep, the common thing people think is I'm dead.
Oh, shit.
Probably.
So when I'm older, when I'm an old man, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, is he dead?"
I know, they'll be checking you
poke him with a stick
all the time.
And it happens to me once in a while. Up here, like, poke me. I was just checking to make sure you were alive, bro.
You didn't look good, man.
I haven't experienced that. You've been over several times.
It just opens just a little bit, and sometimes it
Just
opens
enough.
a lot, and it wanders while I'm
You
sleeping.
screamed at me while you were sleeping before.
I did that, yeah.
Okay, dude, don't kill me.
He's looking right at you.
That's funny. Any more nightmare stories?
Well,
I
all
got
kinds of nightmare stories.
I don't normally have nightmares that often. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed about that, but
Any night terrors, like extreme
well, not. I mean, I guess
dreams
this
that just you jump out of bed?
yeah. This one I actually woke out of screaming, and that one was another supernatural one, and this one I was dreaming that I was hanging over at my buddy's house and had fallen asleep in his basement, and this is all the dream, and then in the dream I remember that, you know, his family had talked about that basement being slightly haunted, etc. And so laying there in the dream and the light starts flickering, so I'm all like, what the fuck? Okay, it's just electrical. And then all of a sudden the tapestry that's hanging on the wall starts like pushing out, like hands are pushing out all over it. And then I'm trying to wake up my buddy, you know, freaking out, like, what the fuck, this what your family was talking about was true. And then, yeah, it's just the hands started getting closer through the tapestry, and then that's what woke me up screaming. So, I don't normally have scary dreams, but that I remember anyways.
And you could never wake up your buddy, right?
No, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's scary.
Exactly.
All alone.
Wow.
That was a good one.
So is your life influenced by your dreams? Deep philosophical question. Do you believe everything that you dream? Do you change your life according to what happened in your dreams?
I don't. I mean, when it comes to the Atlas stuff and whatever, and yeah, I think we definitely. I mean, if those were night terrors or sleep paralysis that we were experiencing,
That's a really deep question.
We weren't expecting this. Like,
if those
Good.
were
That's why we
like,
like these podcasts.
if those were
Ask
just
me a
mental
question.
things and not actually supernatural that were from the Atlas and from us playing with the Ouija board, I definitely changed my life. I stopped playing with the Ouija board because of that shit. So
Yeah, fuck those things.
a buddy, his wife divorced him because she had a dream that he was supposed to be with a black woman.
Oh
Isn't that
wow,
interesting?
yeah, that is interesting for sure.
So he was bumming out about that for a really long time. He's like, I just don't get it. Somebody's divorced me because they had a fucking dream about it. You know?
Ex-girlfriend always used to wake me up trying to start a fight with me. You did this. I said, what? You did this in my dream. I'm like, oh. What?
I'm sorry for what I didn't do.
Right?
You're awake now, goddammit.
Yeah.
That's like kind of like Minority Report, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Like- predicting somebody's behavior through their dreams.
Yeah.
It's deep shit. We have 11 more minutes.
11 more minutes.
So what kind of events are you guys going to market? How are you going to market STDEMON 2?
We're premiering it in October. We're premiering
That's
it
soon. I thought production just started, didn't it?
Yeah, and but after editing Summer Rage, I'm fairly confident that STD2 is going to be a breeze, and we're paying.
Ready for Halloween?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh my
totally.
God, yes.
Yeah, it'll be. We're working on. I mean, we've already got the place rented, and we're going to start. We're going to announce it soon, but we're doing. I guess this would be an unofficial announcement, but we're going to be doing Midnightwest Fest, which is going to be a big thing that we hope becomes an annual independent film festival in Cheyenne, because there's not a lot of shit like that in Cheyenne.
Not even in northern Colorado here.
And I mean, we've already got. We were planning on showing a bunch of our stuff, obviously, but we are taking submissions. We will be taking submissions too, and I've got a few filmmakers I know in Cheyenne that are talented that have already, expressed interest, and I'm sure we can get several submissions from down here too.
Jerry, is it only going to be horror themed films?
Not. I would say in the horror, it'll be a little more broad.
Any documentaries?
I think documentaries would be awesome. I think we should have a documentary. I think we're planning on having some sort of documentary category. So I think there's a lot of interest in that. And in fact, we're actually going to be doing a couple documentaries. One for sure, and another one that we can't really say a lot about because we don't know the statistics of yet. But it'd be amazing and huge if we got that documentary.
Cool.
But,
Nice.
The one documentary that we're doing for sure is on my buddy Aaron Snyder. He does comedy shows in Denver here and there, but he has cerebral palsy.
Oh,
and we're definitely trying to step out of the horror realm. And I've known this kid for over 20 years, and we're just gonna go on a documentary about him, and the struggles that he goes through on a daily basis. It's hard to find. Oh, sorry. It's hard to find a chick, that wants to, date a guy, that has a, disability like that. And it's sad, because, it's not like he's, any different from, you or me.
Yeah, it's the same feelings, everything.
And we're also, we'd like to kind of touch base, on how marijuana helps, because he has a hard time talking, but once he, once he smokes or partakes or whatnot, he's fine, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, it is kind of sad, where we live, that Wyoming is such a red state,
they're
It's like
still
a
in the
tease.
dark
It's
about
like-
that, but they're
You're
getting
in the dark ages. That's
a little more.
You're like
Since
across
they
the
just
border.
legalized CBD and hemp
Yep.
there in Wyoming too, or at least in Cheyenne. I don't know how all
Be
that
careful.
works, but
But they said that in Nebraska too, and a girlfriend of mine and her partner just got arrested for
oh no shit.
selling CBDs. So be careful out there.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
Be careful, and
Make sure you
I
got
just feel like
representation.
hopefully that's. It's still, I think, a long ways away, but hopefully that's a good step in the right direction of people's minds getting more open to that.
Yeah, and the stigma changing to where it should be.
Do you
Exactly.
think Wyoming will ever legalize it?
I think it's
Possible.
potential, very potential, and I just think it'll be. Of course, it would be. I think it would be medical probably first. I'm sure if they do, and it'll. I feel like it's at least a good 5 years out, personally.
Wow, that soon?
At least, my mom will
time.
argue with me on that, but
Well, no, I'm from Nebraska originally, so I totally get red state mentality.
oh yeah,
I think that will be federally legalized, before Wyoming's just like
and they'll have to.
has to do it,
Yeah, that's true. It should be. Should be.
And
We're getting there. Yeah,
Cool.
baby steps.
Yeah.
I don't have.
That's why I'm so glad we live so close to Colorado.
We love you guys.
Yeah, thanks for
We
having.
love you too.
Thanks for coming down. Thanks for having me.
Well, no, thanks. Yeah.
Thanks for having
You're
us.
welcome.
man.
Thanks for putting up with
Glad
my
we walked
shit.
in at the right moment.
This is totally unexpected,
was
so
perfect
this is
timing.
this is badass.
We
Oh, yeah.
are on Wednesdays at 7.
Kobe, come get your backpack, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You left your backpack on the set the other day, buddy. We got it. It's here.
Yay!
Come get it. So I want to thank Midnightwest Productions for being here. Thanks, Jason,
You're welcome.
for chilling, hanging out.
It's what I do.
You guys have any last words before we go?
Just want to plug STDEMON 2, obviously the one we just started filming and will be premiering in October. It's hilarious. It's fucked up. It's definitely grindhousey. Cool. There's every scene there's something different happening, and guaranteed everyone in this movie.
That's a tall order.
And then Summer Rage, real quick, too. That is our
yeah.
full-length slasher film that we shot a couple summers ago, completely inspired by the 80s awesome horror films. And,
The
That's
edits
about
I've
to
seen are really good.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's about to be released?
yep, we are in the final stages of post-production finally on that. We've got a rough cut that we're super, super excited about. So just a little bit of tightening and polishing. and we'll be ready to premiere that in October as well. I'm super, super excited because I feel like we have a lot of memorable lines in our films, and I think that's going to be a thing that for Midnightwest is
Pop culture
memorable
catchphrases.
Yep. I'm a pop culture fucking nerd, so
Hashtag that shit.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I'd like to say too, they did bring some copies of STDEMON 1 signed. You can come pick those up. How much are those, Jason?
I think they'll probably be about $10 here because it's
$10
just a bare bones the movie
signed
only,
copy.
But it's well worth it.
Very good movie.
We're gonna have some copies here probably in a couple weeks that'll have a commentary on it and a couple of different extra features on it as well. Then that one will probably be about $15 just because it'll be the boner on the table edition.
Boner on the table.
Yeah, that was our hashtag throughout the whole production of that first film is hashtag boner on the table.
Boner
And
on the table.
if you've seen the movie, you know. If you haven't, you need to see it.
That's correct.
Toys are coming soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Not NSF approved.
Just in time for Christmas.
Yep. Thank you guys.
That's all we have
Thank you so much.
on Gorehound Storytellers.